Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Amber Unfiltered. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about this wild ass movie I watched on Christmas called Lurker. But before I do that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you want to cash at me at Amber Unfiltered Show, that'd be greatly appreciated. Sorry in advance if you guys hear my little heater. It is freezing in my office. I cannot record while I'm cold. I'm gonna be too distracted on the cold. Also, if you catch me eating, you catch me chomping a little bit, I apologize too because I'm eating my lunch. I was like, this is the second time I'm eating something on camera. I stuffed a couple of bites before I got on camera, but I wanted to I just came back from PT. Girl, that was rough. You can obviously imagine why, but I stopped at Honey Baked Ham to grab me and my husband lunch, but also dinner, because sometimes we'll order 2 meals and we'll just break them up. My mother and father-in-law got us Honey Baked Ham gift cards, and you could easily spend $50-$60 in there. I don't care what no one says. Their lunch is actually very, very clutch. I think a lot of people only look to them for like holidays and catering, but they actually have a set menu with like sandwiches, salads. I got the chef salad, which I think has ham. It's got like red onions, tomatoes, a little bits of bacon, cheese. It's like a really good salad, and I put some raspberry vinaigrette. That shit is fire. I don't know if I told you guys, I'm working with a dietitian to get a better hold of my eating, and she's been telling me like little tricks to kind of basically making swaps. She was like, because I love like ranch, Caesar, all the fattier dressings, all the thicker, creamier dressings, but she was like, they're really, really bad for you. She was like, switch to vinaigrette. So I'm trying to do my big one. I've actually lost some weight. I think I've lost between 20 and 25 pounds. I'm trying to just get myself healthier. I'm trying not to fixate on a number, but I would like to ideally lose a little bit more weight. But if I don't, I'm cool. But I'm noticing like my pants and stuff are like, hanging off of me. So I'm like, okay, I can fit some stuff that I couldn't fit before. Okay. But anyways, I'm not going to do a full-on review. I just needed to talk to someone about like access and like parasocial relationships. Actually, let me pull up a tab on that too. So I'm going to tell you guys what the movie is about. I don't even remember how I found it. I think I watched something else. I went on a Reddit thread and I think it recommended this. Or no, I'm lying. I know how I found this. I told you guys I spent Christmas alone. I just wanted to do like a self-care day and just kind of keep it low-key, and I did. I even took social media off my phone so I could just veg out. And I even had my phone on Do Not Disturb from like 8 to 4 or 8 to 5 or something like that, just so I could chill. I like wrote, I meditated, I did some writing, I watched some movies, I caught up on laundry. Like, it was such a chill day, and I just took my sweet time, and I loved that for me. So I remember I was like, I want to watch something. I thought I wanted to watch horror or something like that, and I was gonna go one way, and then I remember I was like, I want to find a movie that's like Opus, and this movie popped up, and I was like, oh shit. So I want to tell you guys about it because I think I have a question after watching it, because it made me think. Even in doing this, I'm like, there could be something to be said about that. But let's get into it. Okay, so the movie is called Lurker, Lurker. I had never heard of this movie. It's an indie film. It came out earlier this year. I think it came out over the summer. When was the release date? It was released August 22nd of this year. It's directed by Alex Russell. Alex Russell, I believe, has written or directed or worked on episodes of Beef, which is that series with Ali Wong. And the gentleman, is it Stephen Yeun from The Walking Dead? I don't know. I did not care for that show. The characters were just doing too much for me, so I kind of called it quits. I believe he also directed or helped on some episodes of The Bear. I tried to watch that. I've tried to watch it 2 or 3 times, and that show is just not for me, but I can respect it. And then, but this is his debut film, or directorial debut, I should say. It was distributed by Mubi and Focus Features. It runs at about 1 hour and 40 minutes. It's billed as a drama, but I think it's so much more than that. I think it has like some psychosocial thriller elements to it. It makes some really great commentary on like access, boundaries, parasocial relationships, and things like that. Also, let's discuss the cast for a moment. And I promise I'm not trying to purposely butcher his name, but Archie Madekwe, I might be saying that wrong. I've seen him in other stuff. He's been in Saltburn. He was in Gran Turismo. He was the lead in that, if you've ever seen that movie. We actually watched that last year when we went on a cruise, and that movie is actually pretty good. I actually want to go back and watch the whole thing because it's kind of distracting watching it on a big screen, and there's so much noise and things going on around you. It also has Theodore Pellerin. I might be getting the names wrong. I apologize. Zach Fox, Sunny Soljic, Havana Rose Liu, or Havana, excuse me. I like that name. That name is so unique. But let's talk about the actual plot or synopsis, and then we can get into my question. So it says a retail employee infiltrates the inner circle of an artist on the verge of stardom. As he gets closer to the budding music star, access and proximity become a matter of life and death. And literally it does. And I was just like, this movie is so wild. It's more subtle to me, and it's more mental. I feel like it's more mental and like metaphysical or like emotional. And metaphysical, I mean like spiritual. Like spiritually, there's consequences for this young man interacting with this soon to be star, this rising star. I love the performances from the two leads. They did a really wonderful job. It was very believable. I loved the color scheme of this movie. I loved the cinematography. I loved the situations that some of the characters found themselves in. Like, it was interesting. The retail employee, he did a lot of sabotaging to secure his spot in this artist and this performer's life, and I thought that was interesting, at the cost or the detriment of those already around him. Like, he kind of had like a camp of like his friends who he also employed. And I think I read something or heard, yeah, I read a bunch of interviews from both of the lead actors who did a beautiful, beautiful job. And they were saying where they got the inspiration from. But I think the director, Alex Russell, was sending them lots of clips of like artists who were coming up and like had their friends around them, like their homies. Then they employed them, and then those lines kind of get blurred. But they said that they watched a lot of things from like Tyler, the Creator, like documentaries, footage on that. And I was like, I could see so many artists, like, this is how they come up and they don't know anything else. And I remember, there's a couple of things I want to dissect, but I remember when I was like, when I come up, I want to employ my friends. I had the same mentality. I was like, I want to get them out of like the corporate 9-to-5 grind. I want them to have like more autonomy. I also want to be able to pay them for their talents, because maybe they're being underutilized and underpaid in their current situation. And now that I'm like a fully fledged adult and like 31 and like have some life experience, bro, I would not. I would not, because I don't want the friendship to be damaged, and I don't want those boundaries and those lines getting blurred or getting crossed, and then you can't go back from them. Like, I know it's not the same thing, but I know that one of my favorite artists, I know that there's some controversy and she can be problematic at times, but Mariah the Scientist has employed her sister as her manager, and she's been her manager for I think the past few years. And I was like, how do you separate being a sister and how do you separate being a manager? I feel like the two would ultimately bleed. They would kind of run together like watercolors. And I was thinking, like, I remember one of my friends, Adria, I had wanted her to be my manager. I didn't ask her, but I remember wanting her to do that. And because I was like, she's very good at scheduling. She's very good at complex problem solving. Like, she's very creative. And I was like, she knows how to explain things. She knows how to work with different personalities. So I thought she would be great for like managing me on like the talent aspect. But I was like, she's also a mom. Like, that's her first priority. But I was like, I don't know if she would actually want to do it. I remember even going so far back as to like 2015, 2016, one of my other close friends, Leah, I had wanted her to manage me. But I remember she was in a new relationship and it was like heating up, and they were taking those next steps like into getting engaged and getting married and moving in together and stuff like that. And I wanted her to manage me. And I was like, why did I think that that was a good idea? Not to say she couldn't do it, because my friend Leah, she's very business minded, she's very business savvy, and she like had a degree in it. She knew how to make money move. So I just kind of was like, I need that type of energy around me, because I'm not the most business minded or business savvy. So I was like, maybe I can employ somebody that already kind of has that hunger, that not that alpha mentality, but like that, what was I about to say? I was about to say some analogy and now I couldn't think about it. But anyway, the hunger and like the drive for it, and just like the natural knack or talent for it. But I'm kind of glad I didn't, because it probably would have ruined the friendship, or it probably would have made it so that something may have happened and on the back end, and maybe that would have, yeah, I would say ruined the friendship, or maybe changed the course of it in such a way that we can never go back to how things were before. And to me, I value my relationships. I really value my friendships. I really cherish and treasure those. I take those so seriously. Like, a friendship to me is like a job. Like, you have to nurture, you have to pour into it. It kind of reminds me of like planting, like planting, watering, nurturing those seeds. The seeds may bloom, but you have to keep watering, you have to keep tending to it. It's almost like a garden. I think that's the best analogy I can say. So something I wanted to talk about is access first. So in the movie, what was I gonna say? I can't remember the characters' names now. I'm so old. Hold on, let me go back. Let me go to the Wikipedia page so I can tell you. And I apologize for messing up Archie's last name, because that was not my intent. Where's the Wikipedia? Okay, hold on, y'all. All right, I need a bite. Okay, so Theodore Pellerin plays Matthew Morning, and then Archie plays Oliver. So Oliver comes into the store with someone from his entourage, that Matthew works at. It's like a clothing store that a lot of celebrities frequent, and it's also set in LA. I forgot to mention that as well. It's like in the, in the hills type of vibe. So he comes in there. Maddie tries to act like he doesn't know who he is. He plays this really cool song that only Oliver's character would know. Like, he has a very eclectic musical background, but musical taste or preference. So they kind of bond over that because he plays this song that he knows that Oliver will know. So it's kind of like he sets the foundation for their relationship right then and there. There's a power dynamic, there's a struggle for power, and there's a power and control narrative already being set, or a dynamic being set. And Oliver is not even aware until much, much later. So then he's like, hey man, you put this song on, and then he's like, hey, pull up on me, come to the show. My thing is, if I met someone I vibe with, I'm not immediately inviting them into my inner circle. I'm not inviting them to my show. I'm not inviting them to my, okay, let me back up. I'm lying. I would invite them to the show, but I don't think I would give so much access. I'll be like, come to the show. Maybe I would have given free or discounted tickets and maybe kept it at that. Or I would have been like, hey, I'm going to have my manager reach out to you if you and a plus one want to come to the show. Because I have invited people to see me come perform, but not, I think, I might be wrong, but I think I've done it in such a way that I'm like, hey, there's going to be other people there. It's not just you. Like, I'm not singling you out. I'm not giving you that special emphasis or making you think that you're going to be number one on the call sheet, I think. So I think that was strike number one. And then Maddie goes to the show, and Oliver's there surrounded by friends, and they kind of haze him, and he passed the test. He just immediately does. It was so crazy. So when Maddie first gets backstage or whatever, they're just kind of hanging out. This is before the concert takes place. They're hanging out. All his boys are around him. He's got a girl on him. She's kind of hanging or dangling. I said hangling. I was trying to say dangling and hanging. Jesus. She's kind of dangling off him like a necklace. It kind of gives groupie tease. So Maddie comes back there, and he's like, hey guys, and they're like, pull your fucking pants. They all have their pants down, which I thought was weird. This is another thing. It kind of shows what you will do to fit into like a sort of ecosystem or a culture that's already established by that artist or that public figure and the people around them. I was like, it kind of reminded me of Frida and Blink Twice. She immediately just caved to Slater's whims and just bended herself, doing things she wouldn't normally do if he were not who he was. And I think that's something that a lot of artists talk about, like, you almost have to change and you almost have to do things that you can't come back from. And I think I have such a strong moral compass that I'm very stubborn, and I know myself, and I know when something feels authentic to me, and I know when something feels the complete opposite. And I have a very strong sense of self and a strong vision for myself. So I really don't be allowing fuck shit to be around me, or allow fuck people to be around me. So when he comes in, they all have their pants down, just down, like they're just sitting down like on a couch, and they're like, one of Oliver's friends is like, bro, pull your pants down. And at first he's like, what? And he's like, I'm so dead ass. And he like has a straight poker face. He has a straight mean mug. And fucking Oliver, fucking Maddie does it. And I was like, why would you do? I would have turned around and left. First of all, I wouldn't have found myself in that situation, because my red flags would be going up like, why are you inviting me? Why are you giving me such unlimited access? And keep in mind, Oliver is up and coming, but he's well known enough that he has almost like a cult underground following. But I was just like, that's so bold. Like, I can't do it. But it's the things that we would do to have access, to have proximity, or to even be in proximity to someone like that. Because it's not an everyday occurrence. It's not a common occurrence. So he does it. And then there's like this back and forth with the friend that Maddie is kind of like a dominance thing, but also like a test to see, okay, so how far will you go? What boundary will you push? What envelope will you push? And I was just like, I thought that was really creative. It starts off subtle and then it just keeps upticking. So then finally they're like, well, bro, pull his pants down, so he'll do anything that we say. He'll do anything that Oliver says. And bro, they're like, what else can you do? Why does fucking Maddie pull down his pants and shows off his dick? I was like, oh my God. I was like, bro, I would not be in this situation. But it made me think, like, what do we do? What would I do if an artist gave me access to that? And I saw their star power. I saw their potential. I saw their trajectory. Like I'm trying to think, like, what if I met like Vince Staples, or I'm trying to think some of my favorite artists, or like Halsey, or like Lana Del Rey, or I'm trying to think, there's so many, Mariah the Scientist. Like, I kind of felt like I met her right before she really hit her peak. Actually, she's a good example. Even though it was met, the thing is, I think if you're going to give access to somebody access to you, you need to do it in a controlled environment with a controlled group of people around you. when I met Mariah the scientist, I met her last April. It was for a meet and greet. Like, it was through Ticketmaster. I bought it through there. It, like, her team or whoever had coordinated, her and the venue had coordinated it. It was a set time, a set environment. Like, it wasn't just her coming to me. Like, she didn't just give exclusive access to herself. And I was like, I think as artists, we have to be careful with that. And just people in general. I mean, I'm on the internet technically through this. And I tell you guys my life. I tell you guys the things I'm intaking as far as like pop culture, media, you know, movies, what's going on in my life. Like, but you still, I think I do a pretty good job or a decent job of having boundaries. Like, even the thing I'm going through right now, I tell y'all everything else, but I was like, I'm not comfortable coming on camera to tell y'all that. I'm sorry, not sorry. Like, sometimes I think about it, I'd be like this morning I was thinking about it, I was like, damn, should I tell them? But I was like, I'm cool off that. I was like, I want to do it on my terms in a controlled way, in a controlled environment. And this doesn't feel like that to me, because once I post it, I don't have no control over it. But if I curate the way that I want to share it, then that's a little bit different. But when I met Mariah the scientist, she was like so lovely, so nice. But I think she still kept it professional. I think Oliver just was like so open. He was like a kid to me. Like, he really didn't have on like the adult lens, or like just being aware of his surroundings and having discernment, because you can't have everybody around you. Black people, we have this saying that all kinfolk ain't skinfolk, and I know this doesn't entirely apply in this situation, but in a way it does. Like, you can't just be having every Tom, Dick, and Harry around you, because you don't know people's true intentions or their motives. So it just upticks from there, and there's some really heinous shit that Maddie does, sabotaging other members of his clique, of Oliver's clique or crew. Like, there's a scene that I actually, this was probably one of my favorite scenes of the movie, but what was I finna say? But where, okay, so they were shooting a music video to a song he had already recorded, and they were shooting it like outside, like on a farm, like in a pasture or something like that. And his cinematographer, filmographer, were shooting him, and he ran out of batteries. Like, his camera started running out of juice. So Maddie was like kind of like his bitch boy, honestly. I know this, he was kind of like his assistant, basically, like his production assistant or camera assistant. And he was like, go find the batteries in the bag. He had like a big bag that he had carried the camcorder in with all his like accessories and things that he would need to be successful to finish the shoot. So he couldn't find it. So then all of a sudden, Maddie makes use of himself and recommends something. And it looks like a great idea on the surface. And the cinematographer is like, wait, I know I packed this. But then we see later that Maddie actually left the batteries on the desk on purpose, again, so he could get that leg up, so he could get Oliver's eye. And that's another thing. He's so thirsty for Oliver's validation. He's so thirsty for his approval. He's so thirsty to just be in his good graces that he's willing to do any and everything. And that made me think about entourages as it pertains to like artists, like any like singers, musicians, you know, actors, models, even ball players, like athletes and things like that. I was like, I wonder how their entourage is. You have to have a very tight clique or crew around you, like solid people who are going to check you, who aren't going to be yes men. And I think the problem with Oliver is he had a lot of yes men, a lot of people trying to people please, and they would do whatever it took, whether it meant stabbing each other in the back, whether it meant stepping on one another's toes or necks, to get Oliver's, you know, they never told Oliver no, but I think Maddie was the only one who was brave enough to tell him no. And I think, you know, for me, I've had one-on-one relationships with people who have supported my work, and I've like DM'd them, I've gone to see them, I've signed stuff, I've mailed stuff to them, but it was all curated, it was all within reason. I was never alone with them like that. I didn't invite them to my house, I didn't tell them like where I lived, I didn't, you know, maybe if I was mailing stuff, that's one thing, but it was people that I knew wouldn't abuse it. Like, I really made sure to vet who I was sending stuff to. But a lot of the times I would just pull up on them, like they'd be like, meet me here, like we would meet at a venue or a public space. I never was like alone in their house or anything crazy like that. I always made sure it was very curated, and that I had a certain level of protection, because I was like, you never know what people's state of minds. But you know, sometimes I will foster that relationship, like DMing them, checking on them, seeing how they're doing, but it was never overkill or overboard. It was just right, I think. And because I was trying to build a following, you know, and I think there's an organic way to build a following without overstepping and without oversharing to the point that they could weaponize it or something could go completely left. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I should talk about, well, I have something pulled up here that says parasocial relationships. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. I had a question. Okay, let's talk about parasocial relationships for a minute. So, parasocial relationships are one sided connections where someone feels they know and have a relationship with a media figure, celebrity, influencer, fictional character who is unaware of their existence, involving emotional investment, intimacy, and a sense of friendship, often fueled by media providing illusions of personal connection, and while generally normal, can become problematic if obsessive. Key aspects: one-sided. You invest emotional energy, time, and interest, but the public figure doesn't know you. And that's the thing, we don't know these people. We know what they put out of themselves. Their image is curated. They're a product. They're a package deal, a package. Illusion of intimacy. Media personalities seem to talk directly to you, creating a feel of a real reciprocal bond, a concept coined by Horton and Wohl in the 1950s. Who's it with? Can be with actors, musicians, athletes, social media influencers, or even fictional characters. Not just fandom. Goes beyond simple admiration. It's feeling like they are a friend or confidant, sharing in their joys and struggles. Common examples and forms. Feeling close to a TV character you watch regularly. God, I can't say it. On the regular. God, I can't talk. Feeling protective of a musician or actor. Developing deep connections with content creators who share personal details online. Why they happen in modern context. Human need for connection. I think that's a real thing. Even myself, sometimes my favorite YouTubers, I leave comments and I'm like, I hope they respond. And I'm like, I gotta check myself. Why am I hoping that they respond? Why do I need them to see me? I see me. That should be enough. But it's like, you just want to interact. But I never take it too far. I just leave the comment and I leave it alone. People are wired to bond, and minds can blur lines between real and imaginary, which I definitely think is what happened in Maddie's case in this movie. Media fosters it. Television, and especially social media, allows for seemingly direct 24/7 access, enhancing the feeling of personal connection. That's scary to me, and that's something else that I feel like Maddie abused as well, because he had come to find out he had been literally lurking on this man's page, looked at the type of music he liked, the clothes he liked, where he was going. He just was so thirsty, and Oliver gave him control and kind of pushed his original cinematographer or documentarian to the side, and then Maddie starts shooting it, but then he takes it too far. So again, how I'm saying he sabotages and he takes it too far. There's a scene where they go to London to go shoot the album cover and start, shooting the documentary or more of it, because he's shooting it stateside, but then they're shooting it over there, the process of making it, the photo shoot, the collaborative, the creative collaboration, between his friends and the people he also employed. And what was I finna say? And so his friend, Maddie's friend at the store, played by Sonny Siljack, actually, I think he made a shirt or something, and he came to hang out with them at a house party in a different scene. And they're like, bro, who made your clothes? And he's like, I make them. He's like, all my pieces are handmade, DIY. He's like, I got you guys, I can make them. So they're like, okay, bet. And then they invite him to London, and Maddie feels threatened by that. He feels threatened by his friend's creativity, and he feels threatened about his position, so he sabotages him. So while they're on the plane in the air, Havana Rose Liu's character, I think she's the house manager. She kind of just keeps things in order, an assistant type, an executive assistant. She tells Maddie's character, she's like, hey, I didn't get work visas for you and your friend from the store. So she was like, when you go through customs, don't tell them that you're with us. Just say you're here for travel or to see family or whatever. So he's supposed to communicate this to his friend. His friend was asleep when she communicated this to him. Maddie doesn't. We see him and we know he's about to do it. And it's like, bro, what? What if something bad happened? What if he got detained or arrested or something crazy like that? So the guy doesn't get to go with the rest of the group. And that's when she realizes, oh shit. I think she started to realize even before, because Maddie would just come over to the house unannounced. He would walk in like he owned the place. He would walk in and make himself comfortable and wedge himself in between Oliver's friends. Sometimes Oliver wouldn't even be there. He'd be at the studio or he'd be out and about in these streets. And he would just wait for him to get home. And then as soon as he get home, he's clinging to him. And it's just that's really unhealthy. That's what I think I wanted to talk about, obsession. I remember in my humanities class I took last fall, my professor had us talk about obsession and was it a bad thing or a good thing? And I think in some cases it can be good if it's something meeting a personal goal that doesn't hurt anybody, that helps elevate you in a way. And you're not stepping on anybody, you're not backstabbing them, you're not doing anything detrimental or harmful to yourself. But I think obsession can be bad in this case, because it's what won't this guy do? He would probably kill somebody. He would probably chop someone's leg off to be next to Oliver. He really want to be in this man's skin. I said what I said. And there's also this sexual tension between them. I was like, this movie is so crazy, so fucking crazy. So anyway, the friend that worked with Maddie at the retail store, I think the Havana Rose Lou's character goes and gets him because she realizes that he sabotaged, Maddie sabotaged his friend. I can't remember the friend's name. And then they're at the photo shoot trying to shoot the album cover. And then the friend actually dominates and gives some, he like contributes some really great creative ideas. And they finally come up with the album cover. And then I think Maddie pushes him. He's like on a ladder, like shooting down of Oliver, like trying to get these really unique angles and like eclectic shots. And he like, I think it's implied that it doesn't show it directly, but it's like implied that he pushed him. Like he pretends to fall and then his friend falls like off a tall ass ladder and like hurts himself. And we see him in some future scenes. He's got like a busted nose, like the bridge of his nose is fucked up. And then what's crazy is the whole crew leaves Maddie in London. He wakes up and they're all gone. And he's like, my friends, I'm with Oliver. Just check it out. Like, I promise I'm with him. And they're like, no. And it's so crazy. And then he confronts them when he comes back stateside and they're like, yeah, you got to get the fuck out of Dodge. Like, it was so crazy. But I don't know. It says potential impacts, positive, can reduce loneliness, offer comfort, build confidence, and create community. I could see there being some benefit, but again, you have to be very careful with that. And even me, myself, I love interacting with people online, but I was like, I got to be careful that it's not always real unless you actually know this person. And even then, you might know a past version of that person. So it says negative, like I just said, can become obsessive, leading to distress if the relationship is threatened or if it replaces real life interactions. And that's definitely what happened with Maddie. Maddie was also very much a loner. He lived with like his grandma. He didn't have any friends. He was working a mediocre job. He had no vision or direction. He didn't even really have a creative eye like that. I'm shocked. I think because again, he positioned himself in Oliver's like Directorial orbit or line of vision to he made himself seem to be something that he made himself out to be something he actually wasn't. And there's a line he said, there's a scene where they're in the studio and Oliver's recording a track and Maddie confronts him and he's like, all your friends are just like me. They're just different versions or variations or multiverse, characters or caricatures of me or versions of me. And he's like, I just want it more. I'll do whatever to keep it more, to keep you more. And it was just so interesting. And in that moment, Oliver does something so crazy. He accepts him and he keeps him around, knowing that this man is toxic for his crew's health and his well-being to a certain extent. But he pushes him creatively. He pushes him to take those risks that propel him to that next level. So it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't in this situation. So I put into Google, how can fans abuse parasocial relationships with public figures? It says fans abuse parasocial relationships by crossing boundaries into obsessive, intrusive behaviors like stalking, harassment, and demanding control over the public figure's life, fueled by a delusional sense of intimacy, entitlement, which I definitely saw with Maddie, or belief they know the figure personally. And that's exactly what he was doing. He really didn't. And what was worse was Oliver was feeding into that. He was like gassing him up. He was like, yeah, you're my bestie. I share stuff with you that I don't share with the rest of my crew. He was just giving him a job. He was giving him all this unmitigated access, which I didn't think was smart. And I was like, you have to be very careful about that. And even now I was like, I have to be careful about that. Even though I'm not, a public figure yet, and I'm not really visible, I was like, I still have to be careful because some people do know me. And I did actually notice that there was a lady, I'm not going to say where I know them from, but there was a lady that I felt like was trying to do this with me. And I caught it early on and I nipped it right in the bud because I was like, no, baby, you can't come over here. You know what this version of me that I present to you in a specific setting. I can't tell you where I know her, but you don't know me outside of that. And I think she wanted access to me. And I remember I made the mistake. Actually, I don't want to say I made the mistake because I didn't. It wasn't a mistake. I didn't know that this person was going to be like that. But I got the sense that they were looking for a friend, that they were looking for companionship or some type of intimacy, like a closeness. And I was like, I'm not, or friendship. I think that's what it was. And I was like, I'm not willing to give that. Like, again, like I said before, I'm very hard on my boundaries and I peep shit way in advance. And I have a very discerning eye. I don't play around with my intuition. I don't play around with my gut. If my gut is ringing red flags or ringing in some way that makes me uncomfortable or uneasy, it's for a valid reason, and I ought to follow that, and I ought to do my just due by listening to it and protecting myself. Because really it's all about self-preservation at the end of the day. But I remember I told them I was a writer, and they actually came to one of my events or performances, and I remember there was like a little bit of a clinginess or a neediness, and I peeped it so early. It was like they were trying so hard to be my friend, trying so hard to act like they really knew me, and I was like, you only know this part of me, you don't know the whole or the sum of me, you know what I'm saying? And I had to push back and set some boundaries because they were wanting, I think, help. They wanted my eye, they wanted my gift in the sense of like editing and putting shit together. And I was like, at first I was okay with that, but then I was like, no, I'm not okay with that. And I just told them, like, I got a lot on my plate. And I was honest. I was like, I do have a lot on my plate. I can't take anything else on. And so, what the hell does that say? Okay, sorry. And so anyway, I had a calendar reminder set for something, to text my boss something. But I remember just the person was like messaging me a lot, like DMing me a lot. They were like liking all my photos. It was like something out of a movie. I was like, oh my God, it's giving single white female, but you're not single and you're not, you know, whatever. But I was just like, oh my God, but I really caught it. And I was like, I'm so glad I caught it, because can you imagine, like, if I had said no later on and they had formed this attachment or this unhealthy bond with me, like how that would have went. And I be peeping shit. Yeah, I actually peeped it again. It was in the same setting. It was a woman, a black woman, unfortunately, but was also a creative, and we bonded over that. But there was like, I got the sense that they were wanting something from me, like wanting help, wanting me to help put them on. And I was like, I don't mind sharing information, but I was like, really, everyone's journey is different. Everyone's path or trajectory is different. I can tell you what I did, but what I did might not work for you. And that's just the honest to God truth. Every artist is different. Every artist has a very special or unique DNA just encoded in them by God. Like I said what I said. But I remember I had to kind of nip that in the bud, because I was like, bro, I think this person is a little too attached or trying to being a little clingy. And I was like, I don't fuck with people like that. And I can't do it. It makes me cringe a little bit, because it's like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to steal me? Are you trying to steal from me what makes me me, like my essence? You can't copy it. It can't be duplicated. But anyway, what was I going to say? It says also that fans can abuse parasocial relationships by and it can lead to real world threats, online toxicity, and even violence, as seen with stalking, harassment, or extreme idealization or devaluation cycles. It says types of abuse by fans: stalking and invasion of privacy, developing intense fantasies of a relationship, leading fans to show up at homes, work, or events believing they are owed access. And that's another thing, it's the entitlement of it all. Online harassment and cyberbullying, attacking the public figure or those associated with them, like partners or family, when they don't meet fan expectations, often involving widespread online shaming and threats. Dangerous. Delusional entitlement, feeling they have a right to the public figure's personal information, time, or emotional energy, justifying boundary crossing contact. Can't do it. Controlling behavior, trying to dictate the public figure's life choices, relationships, or career, shaming them for having a life outside the fan's idealized image. Again, it's not healthy. The lens that they're looking at you through is not healthy. Extreme idealization or devaluation, rapidly shifting from intense admiration to hostility when the figure disappoints them, turning positive feelings into negative attacks. Defending the figure aggressively. This one has stars next to it. I see a lot of your favorites, your faves, fan bases doing this shit. I've never done this. I'll be like, I like someone, but I'm not going toe to toe with someone I don't know online. I'm sorry, I said what I said. I'm not defending nobody. Sorry. Becoming overly aggressive and defending the public figure online, attacking critics as if they were personal enemies. Physical threats and violence. In extreme pathological cases, this can escalate to real physical harm, as demonstrated by past incidents involving celebrities. You know what that kind of just brought up? I know this is rest in peace to her. Christina Grimmie, do y'all remember her? She won American, or was on American Idol. I don't remember if she won or not, but she was a beautiful girl, super talented, super down to earth. Remember that guy showed up to the meet and greet and he killed her backstage, and her brother tried to step in and prevent it, but unfortunately she succumbed to her injuries. That shit haunted me, because I was like, that's crazy. Again, she did everything right. It was in a curated environment. She had no idea this guy was like stalking her, you know, tracking her movements. That's scary to me. I was like, sometimes I feel scared for public figures when like they post their location, because I'm like, what if someone comes there and shakes some shit up and then like it goes left? Like, that's terrifying to me. Like, I know being visible is a part of the job, and interacting with the fans and the people that support you and put money in your pockets is part of the job. But I was like, damn, how do you mitigate that? Like, even, I know people were making fun of her, but even the thing with Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, when Ari was on the red carpet and that guy bum rushed her, I was like, where the fuck was her security? Like, come on now. But I'm like, security can only do so much. If you crazy, you just gonna do what you want to do. Like, I remember too, like Lana Del Rey, someone broke into her house. That happens all the time with celebrities, and that makes me sad. I'm like, they're out here working hard, they're out here entertaining us, and you break into their safe haven. Like, that's scary to me. And I was like, could you imagine getting home from tour or something? You've been gone 3-6 months, maybe even the whole year, and someone is in there in your house. Like, come on now. Like, I can't do it. I was like, people are not well. They are not well, okay? It says why it happens. Social media access. Platforms blur lines that they do, making fans feel closer and more entitled to engagement. One-sided intimacy. The fan feels a deep connection while the figure remains unaware, creating an imbalance. And delusion. Identity tying. Fans might tie their self-worth to the celebrity, making criticism feel like a personal attack. Pathological attachment. A small percentage develop extreme obsessions, losing touch with reality according to the celebrity attitude scale. And that's just insane. Hold on one second, y'all. And like, I'm thinking too, I think Selena Gomez has someone, damn, I really want to tear this salad up. I was about to fuck this salad up on camera. Y'all don't need to hear me smacking. But I think Selena Gomez actually has someone on her team who runs all her social media. She doesn't do any of it. Like, I think she approves stuff, but they like run everything. They like post everything. They engage. I was like, I would probably do something like that. Or actually, I would probably just go ghost. I probably wouldn't even have a social media because for real, people are toxic. I think Scarlett Johansson says she doesn't have it for that very reason. She's like, I'm very sensitive. Like, I don't have a tough skin or a thick skin. She was like, I can't do it. I'd be sad when celebrities do that, but I honestly understand why. Because people are not entitled to, we're not entitled to their lives. We're entitled to the art that they produce, and that's about it. And even that has its limitations or should come with some sort of boundaries. But I don't know. Should I talk about access and proximity? I think I kind of talked about that a lot at the beginning. Let me see. I want to talk about something else because I want, before I wrap this up, because I was about to call it quits, but then I just thought of something. Okay. So I said into Google, or I put into Google, how to have boundaries when you are a public figure. Because going back to what I said in the beginning, Oliver should not have given this man as much access to him as he did. I think that was his first mistake. And then it just spiraled downhill from there. And you'll be surprised by the end of the movie what he decides to do. And his whole crew is just looking like, no. So, okay, so it says to have boundaries as a public figure, clearly define what's private versus public. And you know what? I used to get really mad when celebrities would be like, I'm not sharing. I don't want to talk about my relationship. I just want to focus on the craft. I actually respect them now that I think about it because I'm like, it isn't none of our business. We can know who they're with and that's about it. We really shouldn't even know that. And I had to catch myself the other day. I was looking somebody up. Who was it? I think it was Odessa Azion who starred in Marty Supreme with Timothy Chalamet. I looked her up and the first thing I did was go to her Wikipedia and see who she dated. And I was like, why the fuck does that matter? Why do we immediately go to that? But I was like, we've been primed by the media to do this. If you ever look at like People Magazine, any gossip sites, any like news articles or anything, even like CNN and places like that, we talk about celebrities' personal lives to no end. I was like, they don't get any reprieve. We talk about their fashion, who they're sleeping with, vacations that they took, business deals, their earnings. Why is that stuff public? Why do we need to know that? That's not our business. What they make, who they fuck, where they at, that's not our business. But I really had to think about that. And as much as I love celebrity culture and pop culture, I realize I'm part of the problem. But like, also, it's kind of toxic. I'm like, they should be able to do whatever they want to do. Shout out to Natalia Dyer and Charlie Heaton, who play Jonathan and Nancy on Stranger Things, because they've been together like almost 10 years and we don't know shit about their relationship. I was like, that's badass. But that also, like, people are entitled to their privacy and they're entitled to enjoy their personal life outside of the art or the things that they contribute to the rest of the world. But anyway, so let me go back. So to have boundaries as a public figure, clearly define what's private versus public, communicate limits with fans and media, saying no often. I think I like Chappelle Roan for this reason. Like, she kind of came across as like whiny, entitled white woman to me, but then I was like, no, she's right. People shouldn't be pushing her and pulling her and yanking her. Like, you don't get to have access to me just because I give you access to my art. There should be a limit and there should be a line. Manage access through scheduled interactions, which I think a lot of them are starting to do. I kind of see why celebrities are different in this day and age. Some of them are really good about going on social media. Some of them overshare and some of them overdo it. But I think there could be a healthy balance. I probably would have it for a little bit. And I would probably turn my comments off and then I would probably just go ghost altogether. Like, I'm trying to pull a J. Cole for real. Like, y'all know how J. Cole used to be so active online. Now you don't really hear from him. Like, he's just completely gone off the grid. That's always what I wanted to do. I've always wanted to get rid of social media, live off the grid, live like a clean life, like have a farm, have my kids, have my husband, and just kind of live out the cut. Like, create art, drop it, go see the fans, dip, be gone for a year, 2 years, whatever, go on vacations, get my healing done, and like just lock in and live my life. Like, I don't want to be tethered to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I think I read an interview yesterday of no, the other day it was on Flaunt magazine. I love their magazine. It's an online magazine that talks about like art. Like, they interview like singers, actors, models. Who was it? what was that lady's name? Akima Bod. What was her first name? Mod or something like that. Hold on, y'all. I'm about to find it. What was her name? Oh, this is pissing me off. Okay, hold on. I gotta find it. What she said, she like was really firm in her boundaries, and I was like, bro, that was literally gonna be me. What was her name? It was a beautiful girl, beautiful brown girl. She was like Middle Eastern, I think, or was she South Asian? Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Oh my God, this is killing me. Was that her name? Oh my God, I can't find it. Let me see. Was that her name? No. Oh my God, her last name was Bod, I think, or Mod or something like that. Oh, I've never seen her before. I think she's like an actress or something, but she was talking about that. She was like, all I care about is the work. Like, you don't really get to have anything else. Like, I'm not online. I'm just here to create. And she's like, she's very clear about like having a work-life balance, but also having a balance as it pertains to fame and like her visibility. Like, there was like so many quotes I was like taking screenshots of. I like sent myself the article because I was like, damn, this girl really knows who she is. And she's like been rising and like making really big strides in her career, but she's like, it's a career and I'm still a person outside of this. And I really like that. Damn, I can't remember her name. Watch, I'm gonna remember or see it after I get off this video or done recording. So it says, use strategic authenticity online, share values, not just vulnerability, and build a strong support system to protect your private life and mental health and parasocial demands. And I think it goes back to what I've been saying this whole video. You have to have good people around. You have to have people who are going to ground you, who are also going to check you, and who are also going to be in your ass, but also really be team you and not be out there spreading your business. So it says, define and communicate your limits. Know your non-negotiables. Identify what aspects of your life, home, family, specific routines are off limits and protect them fiercely as sanctuaries, which I think is a great idea. Master no. Learn to decline requests for time, projects, or access that cross your boundaries, even if it feels difficult, because it is hard to say no. My therapist taught me this, I forgot how she explained it, like a sandwich. She was like, say no, yes, no. Like, you know, like, in setting your boundaries, or I think it was like yes, no, yes, or something like that. Like, if you're gonna say no, land it softly, but still have the boundary there, you know, kind of like squeeze it in there like a sandwich. So it says, clear communication, state your availability and limitations openly, whether it's designated response times for messages or rules about public appearances. I think I would do that too. Like, I'd be like, okay, you can take pictures, but you can't touch me. Like, or if it's only a hug and it's an appropriate hug, like, you know, something like that. Like, you have to be very careful because people can be touchy-feely and they will lose their goddamn minds. I think everybody at the Mariah the Scientist meet and greet, from what I remember, was like very respectful of her. And she's also like super tiny, like, you know. And I was thinking too about how draining it is. We actually have been watching this show called Pluribus on Apple TV. It's pretty unique. This woman is like the last woman on earth, but she's, I don't know how to explain it. Like, there's like this disease that goes out and it affects happy people, and like they all operate as a hive mind, but they like do her beck and call, like everything she wants. If she's like, yesterday's episode we watched, she was like, I want a grenade, and she was being sarcastic and they actually gave her one, and then it fucking blew her up. Like, it was so crazy. But when I was watching it, the first episode, the main character is an author, and she's doing a book signing, and you can tell it's not really her thing. But what was I gonna say? She's very like, what I was thinking was, when she was doing the book signing, the line was so long. It was like throughout the whole store. And I was like, I can't imagine how much energy is going between, you know, exchanging those memories and those feelings and emotions. You know, fans get really worked up. We get really emotional. Like, it must be draining dealing with people like that all day long. You're grateful for your fans. You're grateful for your readers. You know, without them, you wouldn't be here. But at the same time, it's like that exchange of energy has to be a lot. Like, she just seems so drained. And she was like signing the same thing over and over again. And it made me think of Mariah the Scientist when she was signing stuff. Like, she's the thing she signed is actually on my wall right here. But I was just thinking, like, how do you're signing the same thing over and over again? It's like muscle memory. Then you got to take pictures, you got to pose, you got to interact. I was like, that has to be a lot. That's like a whole song and dance in itself. And it made me respect authors much, much more. And like what we request of them, what we ask of them. We ask them to give us a piece of themselves. Then they do it. Then we ask for the book. Then we ask for more content after they've already spent so much time and energy creating something else. And then we want to see them. We have to pay them for their time. Like, their time should be paid for. But I was just thinking about how exhausting that must be. And I was like, if I was her, I probably would have a cap like 20 people or 30 people. But I was like, I guess you can't do that because then you might piss off or isolate your fans. But I was like, when I do these, when I get to that level and I have a book reading or a book signing, I was like, I want to have some type of like, maybe not full-blown limitation, but maybe like something that is comfortable within me. I also don't want to do tour dates back to back because I see a lot of authors and a lot of creatives get very tired and they end up canceling because they're burnt out. I think I just saw Kennedy Ryan, the Black author. She actually said that she was supposed to be doing all these events and she canceled them because she was like, bro, I'm tired, like I'm drained, I'm not my best self, I'm burnt the fuck out. And I was like, that's big of her to do that, because not only was there a lot of money on the table, but there's a lot riding on those interactions and connections with fans. You do have to nurture those relationships, but you also have to nurture yourself. So it's like a very hard balance to strike. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. But I was like, yeah, I think I want to have some type of limit. Like, okay, if we're gonna do a book signing or a reading of some sort and a Q&A, okay, we can only sell 25 tickets. Like, because 25 is more manageable than 50 or 75 or 100. Like, can you imagine? Like, that's a lot. That is a lot. So anyway, so it says control access, decide how much access fans get, e.g. meet and greets, exclusive content, and stick to those plans. Digital discipline, avoid posting intimate moments immediately, use a delay, review for background details, and turn off location services. That's definitely something I'll be doing. Like, I'd like to post about my life more so on my Facebook, and only certain people have access to that. Mostly people I grew up with or family. And I've met some really cool people online, and then I've met them in person. They were nothing but sweet to me and nothing but genuine. But I think I would probably dial that back. Like, I would really just make the art the forefront. Like, I don't really want like my marriage or my kids or anything. Like, I'm even thinking about this now. I know it's not exactly related, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to post my kids on the internet, because I was like, people are really fucked up and people are evil. And like, sometimes I be getting scared or like overprotective of some of the girls I went to like high school and stuff with, because I'd be like, they be posting stuff, they be posting their location or posting maybe like their kids like cute school picture, but then it has like the name of the school, and I'm like, what's to stop someone from just going up and like going to try to kidnap your child or do something to, like, I'm just terrified of stuff like that. Even when my brother and his wife had their kids, my sister-in-law was like, I don't really want to post the girls online. I was like, you got it. Like, I was like, I promise I won't post anything, because I was like, people are really crazy out here. Like, people are unwell, like, I'm trying to tell you. But unless I'm posting for an event that, again, is curated, is within my control, is within my team's control, like, that would be the only thing I would do. But I don't know if I will really post. If I post personal things, I have to really come to terms with it and really take my time to think about it. Like I told you guys, the health thing I'm done with. I was like, sometimes I'd be wanting to tell y'all and I'd be like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm actually working on getting it out, but in the way that feels most comfortable and authentic to me, because again, I have that boundary. Like, I love you guys, I want to share as much as I can, but I also need to have some type of limit just for my sanity and just to keep some stuff close to the chest. So it says, build your support system, inner circle, rely on trusted friends, family, or professionals like managers, therapists who understand your situation to help you navigate public life and stress. I can't imagine how stressful it is being a public figure. Like, you can't move around like how you would before, pre-fame. I think even Joe Keery had mentioned this, the gentleman who plays Steve on Stranger Things, Steve Harrington. Like, he was like, I kind of miss like the anonymity. And I was like, I could see that. Like, that must be so lonely and must be so isolating, and only those in it could understand it. It says, shield your home. Make your physical home a secure private space where you can recharge away from scrutiny. That's what I would like to have. I would like to have like a little burner house, or like a safe house. Remember in Spy Kids when they had like that safe house, like in the, like it was like off the coast or something like that. I kind of want to have that, like a space where only certain people know, maybe like my husband and my kids and maybe like intimate family, where I could just go, like, that's not my regular house, but I can just kind of like step back, go off the grid, just like avoid social media, just like avoid all the noise and just really lock in with like Mother Nature and just really be grounded. Like, I would really love that. Professional help. Seek expert support for reputation management, especially if your brand involves sharing your personal life. And I think that's where influencers and YouTubers and certain content creators can get in trouble, because you are sharing your life, but then people feel entitled to hear more of it and to have access to it and more access to you. And sometimes you be like, I don't want to give it. But going back to the shield your home, I actually would really, really love to have a vacation home in the Dominican Republic. I'm manifesting this now. It's going to take some time, but I really would love to have one there. Like, I don't know why. It's just something so beautiful about that country, something so green and so lush, and that just feels peaceful and like I'm at home. That's where I would want to have one, but I wouldn't tell you which part of the DR, because it's a big ass island. Actually, I don't know if it is, but in my mind it is. So the last couple things, it says mindset and empathy. Recognize parasocial limits. Understand that fans feel a connection, but it's not a real friendship. They are not your equals, even if you're kind to them. Okay, I don't like that they're not your equals, because I do think that fans are your equals. I don't really like that word. but I understand what it means. Like, it means like you guys are on the same level in the sense of you're, you know what, I don't really like that. I understand. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand it. And it said empathy for others and yourself. Be empathetic to your partner or family in the public eye, but also set boundaries to protect your own emotional well-being from constant external demands. And that's another thing. I don't think I would never, but I don't think I would really be talking about my marriage or my family life too much. Like, I love celebrities. I used to like really be mad at them, but now I'm like, no, I get it. Like, people, celebrities that don't post their kids, that don't like, or if they pop out on the red carpet, it's like 10 years into the game. Like, I think I just saw Jennifer Goodwin. Is she married to Josh Dallas? He's also an actor. They were on the Zootopia 2 red carpet, and she's like, this is the first time we brought our kids out. We've never seen their kids like that. Like, I like that. I was like, you're protecting your kids. Like, you're putting them first. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to give them as much of a normal experience as you possibly can, because you know your face and your name brings so much with it, and you don't want that to fall back on your kids or blow back on your kids. But yeah, I don't know, guys. I think this is about the end of my video. I totally veered off on a tangent. I was not expecting to talk this long, but y'all know I love to talk, girl. But what I was gonna say was, I think I mentioned this in another video, I think this is gonna be my last video for the year. I think I'm gonna take January off because I have some stuff coming up that my January is like books, like beyond, like booked and busy is not even the word. But I don't know when I'm gonna come back. I wanted to tell you guys I'm taking a break. I hope you guys take a break. Take a break for your mental health. Take a break to reset. Take a break to set your intentions, to set goals for yourself for the new year. I'm wishing you guys, you know, peace and understanding, but also clarity. I'm also wishing you guys healing. Also pray for your girl, because I got some stuff going on too. So I'm gonna manifest healing for myself, but I'm gonna also manifest just taking my time and just you know, doing one thing one step at a time, because sometimes I can't put the cart before the horse. I think next year is going to be good. I think there's going to be a lot of I feel like I'm planting a lot of seeds and a lot of the fruit is going to bloom. I don't know why I feel like that. I just do. So don't be surprised if you see me out and about. But yeah, I don't know. This year was a lot, but I'm glad I got through it. It taught me a lot about myself. It taught me a lot about the people around me, for good, better, or indifferent, as my mom would say. But yeah, just remember to take care of yourselves. I will miss you guys. I don't know when I'm coming back. I might come back with videos here and there in spurts, but I think at the very least I want to take January off. I don't know about February or March, but I'm also going to be back in school, so even if I am posting, it's probably going to be inconsistent, just for a warning. I appreciate you guys for still rocking with me, for still watching the channel. I know it's small, I know I'm not always consistent, but I do really love and enjoy recording these for you guys. I'm always excited to make new content. I'm always excited to hear from you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year's Eve and a wonderful New Year's. I hope that January is good to you. I hope that February and March is good to you. Anyways, I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.